Opened in 1996, this is the beautiful Gabrielson Natatorium at the University of Georgia in Athens for the 2006 NCAA Women's Swimming and Diving Championships. Alongside Rowdy Gaines, I am Mark Neely. Also along with us is Cynthia Potter and Caitlin Sandino. And our first event is the 200 medley relay.
Do we have to start with that one? Oh my goodness, fast and furious. This is going to be a quick one. Relay exchange is so critical, and there's the defending champion, the Georgia Bulldogs. They are going to be very tough to beat here.
Georgia won all 5 relays last year, and they're going to get a great challenge from Arizona.
And they will. This could be a tale of 2 races, Mark, because you've got Arizona's front half that is very good, and Georgia's back half is spectacular.
Our lane assignments, lane 8 at the top of your screen, lane 1 at the bottom. It's USC, Cal, Texas in lane 3, Florida State, Georgia, Arizona, Auburn, and Wisconsin.
Well, Florida State's the top qualifier. They'll swim in the middle pool in lane number 4. I don't think they'll be a factor. As you said, I think it'll come down to Georgia in lane 5, right there, and lane number 6 will be Arizona. If you count 3 from the top, that's Arizona. Georgia's right there underneath them in lane number 5.
And the first exchange, just about a dead heat so far, 24-60.
Well, good start for Auburn up there in lane number 7. Let's go. Here comes Georgia, though. They'll have a good breaststroke leg. Probably not as good as Arizona's. Cypher was very good.
Getting ready for the exchange.
Oh, look at this, Mark. Look at this, all the way across the board. But this is good news for Georgia because they've got Mary DeCenza, the senior, and Carolyn Joyce, the last 2 legs. They just needed to keep it close.
And here with the butterfly.
Look at DeCenza pop that one right there, lane 5. Coming right at you on the camera.
And the final exchange. And into the water first is Georgia.
Oh, it's over. It's over. Carolyn Joyce, defending champion, 50 freestyle. Look at this. Body length ahead of everybody else in the field. Will she be able to break a record? That's the key now.
Auburn possesses the NCAA and American record in the touch. 137.24. Georgia comes in first. Carolyn Joyce, the anchor, and Georgia wins the 200 medley relay.
Well, that's what I talked about, Mark. I talked about the fact that Georgia just needed to keep it close those first 2 legs and harm the senior. And Purva, right there, Sarah Purva did a great job in keeping it close to lead to those other 2 amazing swimmers in DeCenza and Joyce. What a great swim, and what a great start for the Georgia Bulldogs. They needed to get this one under the belt, and you see Carolyn Joyce, wow, is she able to stick that wall? Great swim.
Here are the happy Lady Bulldogs. For Georgia, here are the results for the 200 medley relay. The Georgia Lady Bulldogs, a winning time of 137.24, with Arizona second, and Florida State comes in third. Now here's the recap for 5 other events from earlier, beginning with the 200 freestyle relay, a race won by Georgia each of the last 4 years.
Yeah, Mark, but it would be a big, different story this time as Arizona, my dark horse at the very beginning of this meet, really dominated, but didn't dominate until the very end. A freshman right there, Lacey Niemeyer, split 21.43 to pull away at the end. Georgia right underneath gets second, but Arizona wins it, and they win with an NCAA record. Great start for the Wildcats.
The 500 freestyle was a very strong field with great swimmers like Haley Pearsall from Auburn and 2-time national champion Flavia Rigamonte of SMU. But it was Laura Conway, a senior who was just a walk-on her freshman year, that takes home the win, and she does this in front of a hometown crowd. A great way to finish her senior year and a pool record.
And that's a great start for Georgia. Also, they needed those points, but in the 200 IM, Caitlin,
Whitney Meyer.
It was
Look at Whitney Meyer just dominated from the beginning. Such an amazing swimmer. She's really coming up to the top. Here's your breaststroke to freestyle, very critical part of the race. Going into this last 50 freestyle, she is just passing people by, just totally wins, nobody in sight. She's just a sophomore, and this is the second fastest 200 IM time in history.
And a big swim for Arizona once again, but in the 50 freestyle, finally, after being so close the last couple of years, Carolyn Joyce, just a junior from Georgia, right there in the middle of the pool, lane 4, finally breaks that American record. Now she becomes the fastest swimmer in history in the 50 freestyle, and she does it in this race right here, 21.63. She breaks Maritza Caraya's American record. And in the 400 medley relay, once again, a dominating performance by who else? Arizona. They've already won the first relay, and they win the second one here. Jenna Grisdall, Aaron Seiper, Whitney Myers, we've seen her, and another Lacey Knightmeyer on the end, a freshman win, 3:31.7 by over 2 seconds, a pool record.
The team standings through 7 events, just 16 points separating the top 3 schools. Arizona 8 ahead of Georgia, Auburn 8 behind the Lady Bulldogs, with Cal 4th, Stanford 5th, and Wisconsin and USC tied for 6th. Coming up, Georgia's senior Mary DeCenza. Her nickname is Crazy, but she's also a down-to-earth girl who grows vegetables on her apartment patio. The 100 butterfly is up next. Hello, everyone. Along with 3-time Olympic gold medalist Rowdy Gaines, I am Mark Neely. Rowdy, last year the Georgia Bulldogs reclaimed the national championship. This year they get a chance to defend that title in their home pool. Can any other school dethrone them?
I think they can, Mark, but it's not going to be easy. 3 major factors that go in their favor. First of all, they're defending champions, like you said. They're at home, and they have some major star power. First of all, senior Mary DeCenza from Naperville, Illinois, defending champion in both the 100 and 200 butterfly. She is going to be very difficult to beat in those 2 events here. Then there's junior Carolyn Joyce from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Just a junior, although she's also a defending champion in the sprints. The 50 and 100 freestyle will be heavy favorites to defend those titles for Jack Bowerly, the head coach of Georgia. Now, having said that, I do believe the Auburn Tigers do have a chance. They don't have the superstars, but they epitomize what this team event is all about, and they will be keeping it close at the end. Don't forget about my dark horse in all of this, the Arizona Wildcats. They also don't have a lot of superstars, but they do have a great team. They've been swimming sensationally this year. And that's a big if, but if Auburn and Georgia falter, they'll be right there at the end.
We have 2 other members of our broadcast crew, both former Olympians. On the swimming side, Caitlin Sandino, and on the diving side, here's Cynthia Potter.
The story in the springboard diving events should be all about Southern Cal senior Blythe Hartley. Hartley possesses 2 world titles, an Olympic bronze medal, and 3 NCAA titles as she enters her final collegiate event. Blythe's strengths are in springboard diving, and that makes her the favorite in both the 1 and 3 meter events. In the team race, Arizona and Auburn have divers that are capable of placing in the top 8, and so the obvious question is, will they be able to perform well enough and place divers to contribute points in the overall team race? For more on the team atmosphere, we go to Olympic medalist Caitlin Sandino.
Swimming is usually thought of as an individual sport, but when it comes to swimming for your college, it's all about your team and your teammates. I'm standing between 2 schools who aren't strangers of bringing home national championship titles, University of Georgia and Auburn. These 2 teams are putting everything on the line in hopes of bringing home that title to their team and teammates back at home. For some of these girls, it may be their last time swimming in such a special and unique atmosphere.
In this individual and team sport, here's how the scoring accumulates. Each event scores through 16 places, with the top 8 competitors from the preliminaries competing in the finals of an event, and the next 8 compete in the consolation finals. The relays count double points, so a win in a team relay equals 40 points. Time for the 100 fly. 4 lengths of the pool. The NCAA and American record just over 50 seconds by Cal's Natalie Coughlin. Georgia has 2 of the top 3 qualifiers, led by Mary DeCenza, who feels that Georgia is the underdog in these championships.
I definitely have a high confidence, but we're still know that we're the underdogs coming into the meet, I feel. But I mean, we're a great team at scrapping it together. We always come together in the end, and we're known for like our little coming from behind, so I hope we can do that again.
I think she's playing a little possum there. I think they're a lot better than underdogs. And she is definitely a free spirit as she waves to the camera.
Well, of course, she won this event last year, but her time slower this year in the seeding and prelims. If we look at the lane assignment with Caitlin Brady of Michigan, Caitlin of Arizona State, Harm of Georgia with DeCenza in the middle, Candace Wyman of Florida, Nagata, Dana Kirk, senior from Stanford, will be in lane 7, and it's Bethune of Auburn in lane 8. And there's the head coach of Georgia, Jack Bowerly.
That's a great leader right there. Defending champion. Auburn had won 3 years before that, and then he had won 3 years in a row. So he's won 4 NCAA titles here at Georgia. It'd be awfully sweet for him to win one at home.
Candace Wyman of Florida in lane 5, finished 3rd in this event last year.
You know, when I was talking to Coach Bowerly just a little while ago, I asked him about Mary DeCenza and how she was attacking the senior year version. See, he felt like she was going to go really fast. And I feel the same way because she looked so controlled in the prelims, Mark. She looked loose and relaxed, and he felt like she was going to really pop off a good one. And she's a much better back half swimmer. So don't let this front half right there in the middle of the pool with that red streak going down the middle of her cap.
DeCenza in the lead. They're in lane 4.
Nice shot over there. That straight arm recovery allows her to relax. Uses her whole body to kick. She starts from her chest and presses forward all the whole time. Keeps that chin jutting along her chest, and there she goes.
Dana Kirk giving a challenge in lane 7 here. Is the touch, and it's Mary DeCenza, the winner at 51.56. Andrew comes in 2nd from Arizona State, and finishing 3rd is Dana Kirk of Stanford. But there's the winner, the Lady Bulldog, Mary DeCenza.
Well, from Naperville, Illinois, there's her coach, Jack Bowerly. Watch this last turn here. As I mentioned, she constantly moves forward. Real good on her turnover. Doesn't follow all the way through, but she constantly is in that front quadrant of her stroke. She consistently keeps it out front. Nice whip-like kick behind her, and that's coming from the chest. Look at this finish. Puts her head down. 1, 2 strokes. Best time right there, 51.5. That's a great swim.
Here's Cynthia Potter with the winner, Mary DeCenza.
Mary, great swim on defending that title. Now, you talked about the dogs being able to scrap it together when they need to. How's that working for y'all now?
We're all swimming out of our minds. We're all swimming really fast, and I'm so proud of the team right now. We couldn't be doing any better.
Do you still think you're underdogs?
Still think we're underdogs, but we're proving a point.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Here's a look at the results. Mary DeCenza at 51.56. Andrew coming in 2nd, and Dana Kirk, the senior from Stanford, takes 3rd. Coming up next, the 400 IM, the NCAA and American record held by Summer Sanders of Stanford back in 1992. The swimmers going 16 lengths of the pool, 4 in each stroke. And Caitlin Sandino joins us for this call, but Rowdy, we've got the top 3 qualifiers, all from Auburn in the middle lanes.
Yeah, none of them big names, but Julie Stepp right there has really stepped it up over the last year. Dropped 5 seconds to get in this top qualifying position. But Caitlin, you really have to think about Whitney Myers in this as well, because she has already won the 200 IM.
Whitney Myers in lane 2 had an amazing swim in the 200 IM. She's a great IMer. She had a solid prelim swim. She did look a little tired afterwards, but the 400 IM is a very grueling race.
Take a look at the lane assignments. There in lane 1, which will be at the bottom of your screen, from Wisconsin, Yiting Siao. Myers in lane 2, as we mentioned, with Bender, Stupp, and Dirk, all from Auburn in the middle. Caverly of Stanford, O'Brien of Penn State, and Laura Conway of Georgia in lane 8. Arizona with Whitney Myers.
Yeah, I was talking to her coach Frank Bush just a little while ago, and I asked him, what do you think? You know, based on that 200 IM, he said he'd be shocked if she didn't win this one, or at least go a great time. And I think Caitlin, when you talk about this first leg in the 400 IM, this decathlon of swimming, what do you think about in this first leg?
You have to swim this race really smart, but at the same time, you got to go for it. You got to pace your butterfly, and Whitney Myers has a beautiful butterfly. And I think it's really crucial getting to the breaststroke, really.
And I want to make a point on that because you were such a great butterflyer, or still a great butterflier. What am I saying? Was. Still is a great butterflier. Still very good. Do you take advantage of that strength like Whitney Myers should do here?
I think you need to find a happy medium. You need to find a fast but smooth butterfly. And I think it's possible, being at this level, that you can accomplish that feeling.
Myers, and even in lane 4 with Julie Stump of Auburn. For the official results from every NCAA national championship, including a complete recap of the 2006 Women's Swimming and Diving Championships, go to NCAAsports.com. NCAAsports.com is the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. We'll be back with the conclusion of the 400 IM. We resume the 400 individual medley, and it's Whitney Myers of Arizona into the freestyle with about 50 yards to go in command.
Boy, she has been in command the entire way, too. From the very beginning, she put the hammer down, and throughout the middle of the race, she kept building and building. Now, she's starting to fade just a touch here on the freestyle, but look at this lead she's built, Caitlin.
She just looks great, and she's really established herself as one of America's top IMers. She has had a great meet so far, and she's coming home strong.
Last couple of yards. And Whitney Myers of Arizona wins it with a time of 4:06.32. Stump of Auburn second at 4:09.22. And Caverly of Stanford comes in third at 4:09.70. And there's your winner from Arizona, Whitney Myers.
Boy, is she having a meet or what? My goodness, blowing away the field in the 200 IM, the second fastest in history.
And she's young, too. She's just a sophomore. So she's got a bright future ahead of her.
And no question about it. I think she's going to be one to watch when it comes to Beijing. And Caitlin, you see her breaststroke right there. She could offer you a little.
I know. I could use a couple tips there. I got to watch out for Whitney Myers here.
As great of IMer as you are, she's going to be right there in the neck of your woods here, I think, in the next couple of years. But this is good for USA Swimming, and she put a great last leg on that freestyle.
The results for the 400 IM. Whitney Myers of Arizona, the winning time of 4:06.32. The team standings through 9 events. Georgia, the leader with 247 points, 9 better than Auburn. Arizona, 23 points out of second place. Stanford, a distant fourth with Cal fifth. Wisconsin and USC tied for 6th. Now, Cynthia Potter updates the first 2 diving events, the 1 and 3 meter springboard competition.
The 1 meter diving was dominated by Southern California's best woman diver of all time, Blythe Hartley. It was no surprise that the 2-time world champion made the win appear effortless with dives like that reverse 1.5 with 1.5 twist, and she won by more than 27 points. On the 3 meter, Auburn freshman Corey Gerlach began the 5th of 6 rounds by applying the pressure with this back 1.5 with 2.5 twists, earning nothing less than a score of 7 from the judges. Indiana's super talented sophomore Christina Lucas responds with a reverse 1.5 with 2.5 twists. Beautiful timing and rhythm. And she went ahead of Gerlach from Auburn by 2.2 points, scoring all 8s and 8.5s. But the round ended dramatically with the 1 meter champion Blythe Hartley needing 7s to stay ahead of the field. Hartley's forward 2.5 with 1 twist earned 7.5s and 8s, and that kept her in the lead. The big question going into the final round was, could the Auburn freshman hold up to score big for the Tigers? Corey Gerlach proved that she is capable and tough. The dive received 6.5s and 7s, and she just had to wait and see if she would garner one of the top spots on the podium. Indiana's Christina Lucas needed 6.5s on her final dive to stay ahead of the Auburn freshman. The forward 2.5 with 1 twist Lucas mastered the timing and held her form beautifully to score 7s and 8s. And so the pressure was on defending champion Blythe Hartley to see if she could perform a back 2.5 with 2.5 twists for 7s or better. It wasn't one of her best dives, but she received the 7s, and a win is a win no matter what the margin. Blythe Hartley picks up her 5th national title. IU's Lucas is 2nd, and the Auburn Tiger is 3rd.
I'm very happy that I came away from this competition with 2 victories. I really wanted to come in here and represent the team really well. And the fact that I came away with 2 victories, and hopefully the team's excited about that, makes me very happy. You know, I wasn't at my best tonight, but sometimes that happens, and the fact that I still came away with the win is kind of a relief, and I just hope to improve on my performance from there.
After this timeout, we'll return with more from Athens, Georgia, and the 2006 NCAA Women's Swimming and Diving Championships. A look at downtown Athens, Georgia on a beautiful spring afternoon, hosting the 2006 NCAA Women's Swimming and Diving Championships. And here are all 21 events that take place here.
This is what a true team championship is all about. The winners usually very deep in all of them and very good in the sprints and the sprint relays.
Speaking of champions, Carolyn Joyce, 2004 U.S. Olympian. What a career as we look at the NCAA and American record for the 200-yard freestyle. Natalie Coughlin of Cal owns that. But that record in serious jeopardy from Carolyn Joyce.
Well, look at her. 7 NCAA titles. She has been on a roll. One of the great sprinters in NCAA history, going for a three-peat in the 100. You know, and you look back at her career so far, she's only a junior. For crying out loud, we're looking at her like she's on her way out. She's still got another year, but you can see the dominating performances one after the other. And this is in the sprints, y'all. This is not in a 200 or 500. You can see usually in a sprint how close they are. But look at her, 2 from the bottom, so dominating, one after the other. She's got a chance to do it here in an unusual event, the 200 freestyle.
Joyce, the top prelim time. She'll be in lane 4. Her head coach, Jack Bowerly, his 27th season as the Georgia women's head coach. Of course, he also handles the men as well. You look at the 4 NCAA team titles he's won on the women's side. That's consecutive those years, 99 through 01. Here are the lane assignments. Lane 1, Jessica Cole of Georgia, Niemeyer of Arizona in 3. There's Joyce in the middle. Cougars of Auburn, 1 to watch in lane 6, and Hill rounds it out in lane 8.
Good start up there in lane number 5. That's Erin Riley, and then, you know, this is really a very interesting race, Mark, because you've got Niemeyer in lane 3 right underneath Joyce. She was 2nd in the 50, and then you got Erin Riley right above Carolyn Joyce, who was in 3rd in the 500. So some of them kind of, you've got the mix of speed and stamina. The problem is Carolyn Joyce can put both of them together very well.
Joyce in the lead, and she, without question, loves her head coach, Jack Bowerly, who gives her a family feeling around this terrific Georgia program.
Jack. He's amazing. I couldn't imagine swimming for anyone else but Jack. You know, he has so much respect on the pool deck, and he has such a presence about him, and you know, he really cares about each athlete, not just as a swimmer but also as a person, and you know, he's just a great guy.
Here's Jack Bowerly and Carolyn Joyce.
Well, she's got a race. She has got a race. I thought this one would be clearly a Carolyn Joyce race to lose, and it just may happen. She does not like to be this tight. Remember, she's a sprinter. Now, she's done a tremendous job in stepping up her training the last year, but this is still going to be a stretch for her this last 50.
Erin Riley of California and Lacey Niemeyer of Arizona giving Joyce a race here.
Well, that's what we talked about. Both of them kind of have their own strengths, but look at Carolyn Joyce dig down right now. Still very tight.
The last 15 yards. Joyce will win it with a time of 1:43.96. Riley of Cal comes in 2nd, and it's Auburn's Emily Kukor's 3rd.
Wow, what a great race on those top 4 swimmers. But what a gutsy performance by Carolyn Joyce, Mark. Amazing turn at the 150. Watch her when she comes up here. It looked like she was fading just a little bit. There she is to the right of your screen. Now that's Erin Riley right above her, staying right there, neck and neck. And Carolyn Joyce, remember, is a sprinter. So everybody seems to think that she's gonna run out of steam, that she's gonna wear down, but she didn't. Right there with that red streak going down the middle of her cap, and she streaked to the end, puts her head down, and wins it.
Joyce, the junior from Big Ten country, Ann Arbor, Michigan. Now in SEC country with Georgia. She visits with our own Cynthia Potter.
Carolyn, this is a fabulous race. Congratulations. Did you think you were going to have this kind of race on your hands?
I knew the 200 was going to be a very close race, and you know, this is my third event, and I'm kind of just learning how to swim it this year, so I'm so happy with that.
I know you talked about the relationship between you and Coach Bowerly prior to this. Does he tell you anything right before a race like this?
You know, he just kind of helps me out with how to, you know, swim my races, and he motivates me and gives me confidence.
Congratulations, well done.
Thank you very much.
Here's the winning time for Carolyn Joyce, 1:43.96. Erin Riley of California comes in second, and Kukors of Auburn third at 1:44.66. Well, after this timeout, we'll be back with more from the 2006 NCAA Women's Swimming and Diving Championships.
Well, it shows you the breaststroke has changed so much more than any other stroke over the years.
And it is time for the 100-yard breaststroke, the NCAA and American record held by Tara Kirk of Stanford. Jessica Hardy broke a finger in the Pac-10s, but seems to have recovered from that.
Well, she has. I talked to her right before the race, and she said it doesn't hurt at all. It's her middle finger. She can't bend it all the way, but she has no pain, and that's going to be good news for her.
Caitlin Sandino also with us. And Rebecca Soni in this event will challenge.
Yes, Rebecca Soni did come into this event as a favorite. She has beaten Jessica Hardy twice in this season, but she managed to make finals after being up at 5 a.m., throwing up all night. She's not feeling great, but she is a great fighter.
Take a look at the lane assignments. Hardy in the middle. Watch for Vipa Bernhardt of Florida in lane 3. Sarah Purva of Georgia from Cape Town, South Africa will be in lane 5. Ellie Weberg of Florida Atlantic, the only swimmer from that school, will be in lane 6. 100 breaststroke, 4 links of the pool.
Well, Jessica broke that finger at the Pac-10 championships a few weeks ago. But watching her prelims, and as she said, there's no more pain. She really looks smooth. Now you see Soni right there in front of you in lane 1. As Caitlin mentioned, she was feeling pretty ill, and I think she's going to be much better in the 200 breaststroke. Give her a little while longer to rest that up. She's at the bottom of the screen, but you can see Hardy right there in the middle taking command early.
Hardy the lead at the 50 at 28.03.
Boy, she's got a great kick behind her. She's a tall breaststroker. She's almost 6 foot tall. She makes those huge lunges. Now, Soni doesn't get as much out of her arms as she does her legs. She has a great kick behind her. The field's starting to inch up on Hardy, but I think she's going to sneak this one out.
Final 5 yards. And the lunge for the wall. And Hardy of California wins it by a fraction over Soni. 1 minute and 2 100ths, the winning time for Hardy, and Soni at 1 minute and 7 100ths. Vipa Bernhardt of Florida finishing third.
Whoa, that was very, very close. Jessica Hardy ran out of gas at the end, and Soni, who is such a great 200 breaststroker, comes into this race, comes into this meet 4 seconds ahead of everybody else in the field. And you see Terry McKeever, the head coach of Cal, and a lot of rumors about her taking the job at USC, Mark Schubert becoming the national team head coach. But Jessica Hardy could give her a good going away gift because she just sneaks in 5 100ths of a second of a difference. She sort of jammed that turn right there. But
down on deck, here's Cynthia Potter.
Congratulations to you and the Bears. I understand you love to race. How do you account for that?
How do I for loving to race? I think I was born with it. I love racing, and it's my favorite thing in the world to do, and I think we did a pretty good job of it out here tonight, and very happy to come out on top.
It was terrific. Rowdy commented that maybe you were running out of gas a little bit at the end. Was that the case?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a rough week. It's been a long week so far, but hopefully I'm gonna keep going at it stronger and stronger the rest of the weekend. We'll see.
Terrific finish. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jessica Hardy of Cal hangs on. The winning time of 1:02. Sony of USC finishing second, and Vipa Bernhardt of Florida third. And coming up, the 100 freestyle featuring Carolyn Joyce of Georgia. Her head coach Jack Barley says her best trait is her competitiveness.
NCAA titles, that's half of the 24 contested. He was my coach during my career. In fact, I gave him one of my gold medals, and he will certainly go down as one of the greatest in history.
Time for the 100-yard freestyle. The NCAA, an American record, 47 seconds flat, held by Natalie Coughlin of Cal, set in 2003. And the favorite in this event, in lane 4, the junior from Ann Arbor, Michigan, Georgia's Carolyn Joyce.
Well, she certainly is the favorite. She's trying to three-peat. She's won this event 2 years in a row, now a junior. She's already three-peated in the 50 freestyle, and has a chance to become the only swimmer in history to win the 50, 100, and the 200 in the same NCAA championship. But don't count out this lady. We've seen her already do what she can do on the relay. She anchored that 200 free relay and their 400 medley relay brilliantly earlier. Could be a factor, but she's got to keep it close early. There's her coach, Lacey Nymeyer's coach, Frank Bush. He's been at Arizona a long time, been runner-up a couple times at these NCAA championships. He won't do it here, but he'll definitely be third, and that's a great performance for Frank Bush and the Arizona Wildcats.
Here are the lane assignments for the 100 free. You have Joyce Niemeyer in the middle. Watch for Emily Kukors of Auburn, Washington, who goes to Auburn in Alabama.
Keep an eye on Mark, lane 4, as that camera zeroes in on her. She's very tall, over 6 feet tall. She's got great length of stroke. This is an historic event. We've never seen anything like this. One of the greatest swimmers, one of the greatest sprinters in the world today. We've got a chance to see something special.
4 links of the pool freestyle.
Freestyle. Take your mark.
Good start by Joyce. As I mentioned, Lacey Niemeyer right below her in lane number 3 needs to do anything she can do to try to keep it close early. But look at this already. Carolyn Joyce popped up into the lead. There's you see her with that red streak going down the middle of her calf. Great length of stroke, good long performance on the legs, nice and natural, doesn't force her kick. Real snappy turns. I talked to her coach, Jack Barley, and that's exactly what he said she needed to be out in. He said if she's 22.7, 22.8, she might have a chance at that record. You know what, though? She's going to win it no matter what.
The last 15 yards. Carolyn Joyce with a half body length lead. And the junior from Georgia touches first at 47.41. Niemeyer of Arizona comes in second, and placing third, Silver of Cal.
Just missed it. Just missed that record. She's been close so many times. She broke the American record in the 50, but she's got to be happy. Exhausted. Jack Barley trying to analyze this whole thing. This is a big team championship. We failed to mention a little bit of that, but boy, this is huge, huge points for Carolyn Joyce. Nice and slow. Watch her come in. Puts that head down. What an extension to the wall. 47.4. What a brilliant, brilliant swim, and what a great meet for Carolyn. Let's go down to Cynthia.
Carolyn, congratulations. It's historic. You won all these freestyle events. What does it mean to you and your Georgia teammates?
I mean, it means so much, and I'm just trying to score as many points as I possibly can because we really have a shot tonight. And so I just wanted to help out my team, but yeah, I'm very happy with that.
Did a lot more than help out. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Here's a look of the results of the 100 freestyle. Carolyn Joyce, a time of 47.41. Niemeyer second, and Emily Silver of Cal comes in third at 48.47. Here's a look at events from earlier, beginning with the 100-yard backstroke.
And Rachel Go, Mark, was spectacular in this event. Didn't start off that great. She was actually second at the 50. Watch this turn at the halfway point, but she's got a real nice, clean stroke. And watch this turn. See, she's right there in the middle. She stays underwater. Everybody else pops up, and right in between Jenna Grisdall and Brielle White, sticks the wall, just out-touches them. Big, big, big points for Auburn for the sophomore. Wins 52.35, and it's a pool record. And then Caitlin in the 800 freestyle relay, Georgia was the favorite, no question about it. They needed this victory to maintain their pace, and because relays count for double points, this was a big win for them.
It's just so important coming in as a favorite. You know, they had a huge lead. They just needed to make sure they had safe relay exchanges. A DQ would not be good for them, but they had Arizona in there, and Arizona is swimming amazing. They have strong swimmers.
Yeah, and they won the 200 freestyle relay. You knew they were going to be very tough here, but you could see the excitement on Mary DeSenza's face as Carolyn Joyce, we've said that name a million times, haven't we? Carolyn Joyce wins, and they win by over 5 seconds.
A pool record.
And back-to-back titles for them. And in the mile, Caitlin, once again, we come down to Auburn and Georgia over and over again. And Haley Pearsall, the junior, really started to make her move at about at the 1200 mark. Remember, this race is 66 lengths of the pool, and Flavia Rigamonti, the senior from SMU, stayed close, but slowly but surely after the 1200 mark, she really put it away.
Haley Pearsall, don't let her size fool you. She is a little itty-bitty thing, but she is so tough. Really tough girl. Little sister of gold medalist Erin Pearsall from Southern California. Gets the win representing Auburn. Kiss from her teammate Adrian Bender also got third in that race. Huge points for Auburn. That was a very big race for them.
It really was. In the 200 backstroke, it was senior Helen Silver. Boy, she joins Jessica Hardy, her teammate, on the victory stand, giving Terry McKeever, the head coach at Cal, a big victory. 153 flat, and she really did a good job.
She looked really strong the whole race. She looked comfortable. That was an awesome swim for her. Really nice girl. Big sister to Emily Silver on Cal also.
And she finished third in the 100 freestyle, so the big swims for the Silver family.
And after 17 events, remarkably, a dead tie. Georgia and Auburn tied for first with 4 events remaining. Now we move to the final 2 rounds of platform diving. First to check of the standings through the first 3 rounds, and Cynthia would begin round 4 with last year's Diver of the Year from USC.
And it's Blythe Hartley, the senior from Southern California, not necessarily a platform diver anymore, but doing this for team points for Southern Cal. An arm stand, back double somersault pike. She's in 7th place after the 3rd round of 5 rounds total. Perfect arm stand, demonstrating control. Very nice dive. She decided not to dive platform anymore because she wants to concentrate on springboard for the next Olympic Games for Canada. And that is just a beautiful stretch into the water with a little too much splash to receive a lot of 8s. Amanda Miller from Purdue, a junior, an arm stand back double somersault with 1.5 twists. It's a lot of dive to say, and it's even more dive to do. The women do not have to do an arm stand from the platform, but they may choose to. She was a gymnast, so she does a very nice arm stand. They're supposed to demonstrate control, and that's what she did beautifully as she came off the platform to wrap up the somersaults and the twists. You see, as she goes in the water, she grabs her hands, and she over-rotates just slightly, and that's why we saw that big splash.
Taryn Ignacio. From the University of Kentucky, junior Taryn Ignacio. Arm stand, back double somersault, 1.5 twist, free position.
Taryn's 4th round dive, an arm stand. She was a gymnast, and she has beautiful control over this arm stand. A back double with 1.5 twist. And she admits that she struggled a bit this year. It's been stressful on the team. There's her coach, Mike Lydon, who was diagnosed with cancer in October, and it's been a tough year. He just finished his chemo treatments 2 weeks ago, and he's waiting to find out how things are.
Lindsey Weigel Jr. from Indiana. Reverse 2.5 somersault tuck position.
She's in third place, and she cannot catch Taryn Ignacio from Kentucky. No matter whether she would score 10s, which is the maximum the judges could award, she cannot catch first place. That's how much of a lead Taryn Ignacio from Kentucky has. And this is a beautiful dive, particularly the entry into the water. No splash. Look at this. Wow. The splash just barely comes up, and that's why she received a lot of 9s on this dive. Gorgeous dive.
Jessica Livingston, sophomore from the University of Texas.
And Jessica performs a reverse 2.5, and she needs 8.5s to go into third place at this point in the contest, and that dive will not yield the 8.5s, but it will receive some 7s. It's a nice, neat dive. It just needs to be a little bit more dynamic and a little bit more vertical going in the water.
Ray Wong, senior from the University of Hawaii.
She needs 9s on this dive to go ahead of Taryn Ignacio. I think she'll receive some 8s. It's a very nice jump off the platform. There's her coach at Hawaii, Mike Brown, but she pikes a little bit, bends at the waist as she goes in the water, so I don't think she will receive the 9s, but it's certainly a technically well-performed dive, and it will keep her in the top 3.
So here's a look at the standings through 4 rounds. Still atop the leaderboard, Taryn Ignacio of Kentucky, followed by Ray Wong and Lindsey Weigel. Back to the final round after this. We welcome you back to Gabrielson Natatorium in Athens, Georgia. Here's the final round of diving from the 10-meter platform. Blythe Hartley, final dive, the senior from USC.
Inward 2.5 somersault pike in 7th place. And saves a couple of her best dives for the last 2 rounds, which will serve her well, but she was a little bit back in the contest, so I don't expect her to be in the top 3. And we know that she swept the springboard contest, but she will not win on the platform, but she hasn't been training there, and she's doing this all for the glory of USC and the points.
Amanda Miller, junior from Purdue.
It's her highest degree of difficulty dive, a back 2.5 with 1.5 twists. Wow, that was her best dive by far. And because of the high degree of difficulty, it's going to yield very high points. She will receive some 8s on this dive and come close to scoring 80 points on this dive, which is a huge dive for women. So this should move her up in the contest, but the best divers are yet to come.
Final dive for Indiana sophomore Christina Lucas.
Christina is so talented, only a sophomore, and she's got a great career not only in collegiate diving but in international diving as well. And you see this beautiful arm stand demonstrating control, and that's one of her cleanest entries into the water. Christina sometimes has trouble going in the water and minimizing the splash, but this was very clean, and she had a little break on the beginning of the dive as she went into the somersaults, and that's why she might not receive a whole lot of 8s, but it's certainly a pretty dive.
Kentucky coach Mike Lighton, they call him Iron Mike, watching Taryn Ignacio's final dive.
And he's done just an amazing job, coming to 75% of the workouts. Taryn Ignacio, his diver, in first place going into this round, and she has dived beautifully. This would be a huge win for cancer survivor Iron Mike. That's what they call him at the University of Kentucky. And he is excited about this one. He has a CT scan coming up to find out if his treatments are working or not. And Taryn has just done him beautifully, and he knows it.
Lindsey Weigel, junior from Indiana, back 1.5 somersault, 3.5 twist, free position.
Lindsey needs 9.5s to go ahead of Taryn Ignacio from Kentucky. 9.5s. What an order out of 10 points. It's a very nicely performed dive, but it will not receive 9.5s to go ahead of the leader at the moment, Taryn Ignacio. But it's very well done. It's a back 1.5 and wrapping up those twists, staying very straight in the twist. The feet are crossed slightly, and there will be a slight deduction for that, but that should put her in one of the top 3 positions.
Jessica Livingston from the University of Texas, back 2.5 somersault, 1.5 twist, pike position.
Jessica's jumps have improved so much off the platform. She does a beautiful back 2.5 with 1.5 twist, and it's her highest degree of difficulty dive. And look at this jump, very assertive, very aggressive. If she can tighten down in her knees, straighten those knees just a little bit more before she goes in the water, that dive would receive 9s. Terrific dive, over 80 points, wow.
The final diver, senior from the University of Hawaii, Ray Wong, a back 1.5 somersault, 3.5 twist, free position, 3.2 degree of difficulty.
Pressure's on, she needs 8s to win the contest, and she will not get it. She over-rotated. It looked like she was very aggressive, had some adrenaline going for her, and she just couldn't control the somersault, the speed of the somersault, and she over-rotates, which puts Taryn Ignacio, the junior from Kentucky, in first place and winning the title for Kentucky after a very stressful year with Iron Mike, the adored, beloved coach at the University of Kentucky.
A milestone win for Kentucky. Taryn Ignacio, the victor in platform diving. Down on deck, here's Cynthia with our winner.
Congratulations, Taryn. First woman Kentucky diver ever to win a national title. I know y'all have been through a lot this year. Reflect a little bit.
It has been a tough year. Mike hasn't been there at every practice, but he tried his best to be there, and it's been a year of self-motivation and team support.
Mike, how great is this for you and Taryn and your family?
Oh, this is wonderful. This is a dream to get a girl to win a national champion, and a girl that I started diving doesn't get any better.
Well done, both of you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Time for the 200-yard breaststroke. The NCAA and American records held by Tara Kirk of Stanford. Sarah Purva from Cape Town, South Africa. The senior from Georgia is in lane 4.
Going to be a tough battle for her because she's got a really good young freshman, Rebecca Soni. But first of all, there's another senior, Kristen Caverly from Stanford. Has been a big factor over the years. She'd love to end her senior year with a victory here, but they're both going to have a real tough time. 2 seniors going against Rebecca Soni, just the freshman, young freshman. They're going to have to go against her.
Look at the lane assignments. Vipa Bernhardt of Florida in lane 1. Purva in 4, Soni in lane 5. Well, we're joined by legendary coach Richard Quick, who recently retired from the Cardinals, 6-time Olympic coach. Coach, probably a different seat for you here this year.
Mark, I can guarantee you it's a different seat. It's a little bit frustrating because you're not part of the action, but I'm enjoying my time with my grandchildren.
Well, you know, Coach, when you look at Kristen Caverly, you've coached her for 3 years before her senior year. What do you tell Kristen, for example, and then what do you tell somebody like Sarah Purva, who's in such a huge battle for the team title?
Well, Rowdy, I always believe in giving swimmers a strategy with which to race with. I believe it gives them something to concentrate on besides the situation that they're faced with team-wise. And in this race, this is a huge team race. Rebecca Soni, I believe, is the favorite, but if they give Kristen Caverly life.
Well, that's what you were telling me a little while ago. I asked you what Caverly's chances were, and you said she's got to be right in the thick of things in the very beginning.
That's exactly right, and her weakness is turns, Rowdy. But Purva is going to take it out and try to hang on. Rebecca Soni is a real steady swimmer. I understand she's been a little bit ill in this meet.
Yeah.
And what you worry about there is dehydration and how it affects performance. But this is Sarah Purva is doing exactly what she needs to. She's establishing a lead. And but Kristen Caverly will close, as will Rebecca Soni.
Now, we saw Jessica Hardy win the 100 breast earlier, but this is a completely different animal, isn't it, this 200 breast?
It really is. You've got to swim with relaxed speed the first part of the race, and then build your intensity throughout the race after that. And here goes Rebecca Soni. She's established, she's taken the lead at the 100. Now, Sarah Purva's got to hold on. She cannot afford to fall way down because of the team race. This girl has a very interesting style.
I'm just getting ready. We've been talking a little bit about that. Not much arms, is she? I mean,
no,
she's really got tremendous leg strength.
And notice the way she leaves her elbows out wide. That's very unusual. However, look how she planes on her arms out in front, and that really helps her in the 200.
She's got nice undulation, too. She really gets her hips involved with it. She comes in seated 3 seconds ahead of everybody else in the field.
And she's going to swim a great one here.
And you mentioned Sarah Purva and the chance that for her to fall off the pace a little bit. She's doing just that.
Look at the Auburn swimmer here in the outside coming up. Holding on to her position, maybe even improving.
And that's exactly what we talked about, Richard. Lauren Durr and Leisha Jensen down in lane number 2, but it's going to be Sony.
It is. Sony's going to win this with a great time. Look at that time. A real fine time.
2:09.37. Sony comes in first. Vipa Bernhardt of Florida second. And Jensen of Auburn comes in third.
Well, Richard, when we take a look at Sony Stroke, once again, can just break down this cycle that she has with these arms.
Well, I just want you to notice something. She eliminates resistance real well. You know, she's not dragging her arms through the water at all. She's skimming right on the surface. Notice her hips don't go very far underwater, and yet she slides into the entry using her body.
And as we come into the finish, she has that nice little dolphin kick extra at the end, and the finish is strong.
It's a great win for the Lady Trojans. I want to know about your strategy, because Richard Quick and Rowdy Gaines were talking about how you have to relax a little bit in the beginning and then build your speed. Is that what you did?
Yeah, I was actually really focusing on doing that tonight, because this morning I messed that up a little, went out a little bit too quick. So I was just focusing on smooth and easy the first 100 and then bringing it home the last 100.
Great job.
Thank you.
A great race in the 200 breasts. Coach Quick, glad you could share it with us.
Well, Mark, it was a real pleasure, and I enjoyed working with you guys, and it was a great race, and it had real meaning in the team race.
Absolutely. Rebecca Sony of USC, winning time of 2:09.37. Bernhardt of Florida second, and Jensen of Auburn takes third. Coming up, Georgia senior Mary DeCenza prepares to swim her final individual event of her storied career, and a chance to make history. The 200 butterfly is just ahead. There is the City Hall of Athens, Georgia. Namesake Athens, Greece. Make the connection, the spirit of Athens, the great Olympic spirit, and the torchlighter signature. As you look at the iPods around the pool deck, we asked the girls, what's in your iPod?
I like the Garden State soundtrack. It's very mellow, but I'm definitely more of a mellow type of music girl.
I'm a country girl, so anything country.
Some Beatles, the Eagles. I'm kind of an oldies girl.
I'd say a lot of classic rock. Michael Jackson is great to listen to before you swim. Eminem, I like rap. A little bit of everything.
Quite a variety. Time for the 200 butterfly, the NCAA and American record held by Natalie Conlon of Cal from 2002. Mary DeCenza has won this event the last 3 years. Nobody's won it 4 years in a row. Mary Maher of Cal won it 4 years, but not consecutively, Rowdy.
Well, she redshirted in 1984, the Olympic year, but she did win 4, but she has a chance to do something that nobody else has ever done, and that's 4 in a row. She's going to be challenged, though, by Whitney Myers. Keep an eye on her. She's just a sophomore out of Arizona. She's already won 2 events here.
Here's a look at the lane assignments. Budanik of The Ohio State University. She's from Turkey. She is in lane 8. Watch Elizabeth Hill of Georgia, a sophomore. She's had shoulder problems for a couple of months. She's really turned into an inspirational leader. This is a big race for Georgia. They need some team points.
Huge race for Mary DeCenza in Georgia. I mean, based on the consoles, as you see, Margie and Bob DeCenza, oh, they're on pins and needles for sure. But this is, you don't want to take anything away from the individual swim here for Mary DeCenza, but this is so huge for the University of Georgia. They need big-time points from DeCenza and Elizabeth Hill because they are down. This is going to come down to the last relay. Don't go anywhere.
8 links to the pool, butterfly.
Auburn has surged into the lead the last few events. You don't see the consolation finals, but they are scored. Auburn had 3 swimmers score 17 points in the consolation finals just before this event. So Georgia needs to make up for it big time. You look to Mary DeCenza to win it, but Elizabeth Hill in lane number 7, you talked about her already. She needs to keep Georgia close and at least maintain a position.
DeCenza the lead. Her head coach, Jack Bowerly, loves DeCenza's work and dedication to the program.
She's fun. She's got a wild side of her, and she's carefree, and but at the same point in time, she's also pretty much old school in many ways too, and she's just a terrific young lady. She's real spirited, and the ups are ups and the downs we try to keep a little bit not too far down, but she's emotional, but she's fun, and she's committed to the sport. I love coaching her. She's a neat kid.
Well, Mark, I talked to Jack just a few minutes ago, and I asked him, what do you tell Mary DeCenza to do in a situation like this? Do you tell her to back off a little bit because she's got a relay coming up? He said, no way. I don't tell her anything. Mary's ready to go, and you can tell that by this swim right now. 3/4 of the way through, and she's already a body length ahead. Margie Bob, you can start to relax a little bit.
DeCenza coming off the last wall. And Mary DeCenza looking to make it 4 years in a row to set history.
Wow.
DeCenza comes in at 1:53.78. Vandenberg of UCLA second. Myers of Arizona third.
And Elizabeth Hill, we talked about her. Parents can relax now. Beautiful swim by Mary DeCenza. Elizabeth Hill pulls in a 5th place finish there. It's going to go to last relay. There's the beautiful stroke of Mary DeCenza, nice and high, sails along the top of the water, doesn't go too high, kind of juts that chin along the top of the water. Nice little snap kick. Look at this finish right here. There's the 5-meter mark right about there, and then she puts her head down, and boy, she's just able to sail to the end. Beautiful swim. There's the head down. 2, 3 strokes. 4 years in a row for Mary DeCenza. Look at Bob takes a deep breath. Oh, I can relax.
Bob and Margie are happy. Let's check in with Cynthia Potter. She has one of swimming's great ladies, Mary DeCenza.
Mary, it's another great win for the Bulldogs, but particularly for you, 4 years in a row. No woman's ever done it before, and maybe a little bit bittersweet with your last individual race.
It was just been a great 4 years, and I'm just so happy to be a part of this team, and I couldn't have been able to have done it without my teammates and my coaches.
And they couldn't have done it without you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Here's a look at the results from the 200-yard butterfly. Mary DeCenza, time of 1:53.78. Kimberly Vandenberg of UCLA places second. And Whitney Myers of Arizona is third. Back here in Athens, Georgia, a national championship on the line as we head to our final event of the meet. The 400-yard freestyle relay. Georgia set the NCAA and American record a year ago. Auburn finished second in that race. It's pretty simple. Georgia, Auburn. If one of those two teams wins this relay, they are the national champions.
It's incredible. I've been a part of 42 NCAA championships, men and women, and this is the most exciting event I've ever seen in my life. There's Mary DeCenza, the senior from Georgia. She will lead things off. Already a winner in the 100-200 butterfly, and trust me, she will go fast. And then you've got Auburn. Carla Denby's part of that bunch. She'll lead that off. She's just a sophomore. They're the top qualifiers. I don't think they can win the relay, but they don't have to win this meet, Mark.
There are some other scenarios that could play out, including Arizona throwing a monkey wrench into things.
Now, we'll talk about a monkey wrench. If they win the meet and Georgia finishes second, Auburn finishes third, Auburn wins the meet. It's just that simple. There's so many different scenarios. We'll try to explain them as they go along, but trust me, this is one heck of a meet.
You'll want to focus on the middle of the pool. Here are the lane assignments. You have Auburn in the middle in lane 4, Arizona lane 3, and the Georgia Lady Bulldogs in lane 5. What energy here at the Gabrielson Natatorium on the University of Georgia campus. The 2006 NCAA Women's Swimming and Diving Championship on the line right here. 4 swimmers per school that swim 4 lengths each. Again,
5
team
points.
numbers.
5 points. I tell you, if Georgia wins and Auburn gets second, Georgia wins the meet by 1 point. And Arizona won the 200 free relay. Let's back it up a little bit. Georgia wins the 800 free relay. This relay sort of marries those two. Now, Georgia won the 800 free relay by 3.5 seconds. Arizona won the 200 free relay, which was by a lot back then, by a second. So Mary DeCenza is going to be a key leg there here. She's got to get Arizona off to a good lead. They've got to maintain that at least through the middle part of the race to set Carolyn Joyce up at the end.
I guess a key part of the strategy, Rowdy, is here. Who's your fastest person? Where do they go first? Anchor where?
Oh, Mary DeCenza. Mary DeCenza could be the key right here. I talked about it earlier. Oh, this could be a big, big time swim for Mary DeCenza, Georgia. Cashing for Arizona, finished 3rd in the 100. Excuse me, finished 5th in the 100. Oh, Georgia's got a nice lead. Believe me, if they jump in the water like this with Carolyn Joyce, it's over.
Tricia Harm with the second leg has the lead for the Lady Bulldogs. Again, the national championship here on the line.
Bristol's got to make up some room here. Bristol's a senior. She's in lane number 3, right underneath Auburn. She's 3 from the top. She's got to make up a little bit of distance. She's pulled up even, but they've got to have a lead. They've got to have a substantial lead on Carolyn Joyce. This 3rd leg here is for all the money.
In lane 5, Georgia has the lead.
Not by much, though. Not by much.
Bresdel making it close, and we're halfway through at the 200.
Now, Whitney Myers is a junior. She's from Arizona. She's already won the 200 and 400 IM. The question is, does she have the speed? I'm not sure she has the speed. She certainly deserves to be on the relay, but I'm not sure she can stack up to Cole, who's just a freshman. Just a freshman up there in lane number 5. Auburn's starting to close the gap a little bit, but it doesn't really matter right now with Auburn. Carolyn Joyce, she's the key. If she can make up the room now in Arizona, Georgia wins a national championship. Oh yeah, I think Georgia's gonna get it. She won the 100 by almost a second.
Getting ready for the final exchange. Myers gonna hand it off to Niemeyer for Arizona first.
Boy, that was a close start by Niemeyer, sophomore. We mentioned the fact earlier that she's a freshman. She's really a sophomore. She swam last year, so she's got a little bit of experience. Now, Carolyn Joyce is right above her in lane number 5. Excuse me, Auburn's right above her. Above Auburn is Carolyn Joyce. She doesn't want to spin her wheels here and make up too much room this first 50. She wants to have a little bit of gas that last 25 yards. She did it at the 200, and here she comes. Niemeyer's got a great view of her. Watch this last 25 for the national championship.
Here we come. The last 15 yards, and they're in lane 5.
She's not going to do it. She's not going to do it. Auburn's going to win the national championship.
Arizona touches first. Georgia second. Auburn third.
Auburn wins. Auburn wins the national championship. What a valiant effort by an amazing champion, Carolyn Joyce and the Georgia Bulldogs. 3 points. Coach David Marsh, 4th NCAA title. He's won 6 with the men. 2 years in a row, they won both the men and the women. The only coach ever to do that in history. Oh, boy. And Jack Bowerly, completely stunned. He has nothing to hang his head about. This women just did a tremendous job. They did all that they could.
Very happy. Dave Marsh, the Auburn head coach. There are the results. Auburn